Over the next few days, Jesus spends time in Jerusalem teaching the people. Incensed by the way that buying and selling and unfair transactions have taken over the temple, Jesus flips the table of the money changers and foretells the destruction of Jerusalem. When we return to his story, just days after he's entered Jerusalem on a carpet of palms and cloaks, Jesus is sitting across from the temple with his disciples. Let us see what Luke chapter 20, verse 45 through chapter 21, verse 6 say.
In the hearing of all the people, he said to the disciples, "Beware of the scribes, who like to walk around in long robes and love to be greeted with respect in the marketplaces, and to have the best seats in the synagogues and places of honor at banquets. They devour widows' houses, and for the sake of appearances say long prayers. They will receive the greater condemnation." He looked up and saw rich people putting their gifts into the treasury. He also saw a poor widow put in 2 small copper coins. He said, "Truly I tell you, this poor widow has put in more than all of them. For all of them have contributed out of their abundance, but she out of her poverty has put in all she had to live on." When some were speaking about the temple, how it was adorned with beautiful stones and gifts dedicated to God, he said, "As for these things that you see, the day will come when not one stone will be left upon another. All will be thrown down."
So as Lisa reminded us, after Jesus arrives in Jerusalem via this odd parade, he has quite a week. He gets into it a bunch with the Pharisees, who grow increasingly annoyed with his sassy answers. He unleashes holy anger over those who price gouge religious pilgrims for their own profit. And then, in a stunning juxtaposition, he points out a poor widow putting 2 pennies in the temple treasury. That, he tells the disciples, is someone who has put more into the offering than any other person today, even the rich people who put a whole lot of coins in. It was hard for the disciples to understand that, though. Then, as now, people believed that great wealth was a sign of blessing and favor from God, and the poor somehow deserved to live their lives scrounging for basic necessities. As if to intensify his point, Jesus draws their attention to the glory of the huge temple. It was, after all, not merely the house of God, but a symbol of the prosperity of the people and the favor of the powerful, of Roman governors and even Caesar himself. To Jesus, it might as well have been a tent. One day, he told his disciples, "Not a stone will be left on another stone." In other words, the things that you have been taught to believe are strong, will be lasting. They're just as temporary as any mortal life. Wealth or power will not save us. What might, though, is the kind of generous spirit the widow had. This Holy Week, perhaps God is calling you to reconsider generosity and its role in your life. Maybe there's something that you want to give, some of your time or your money or your skill or talent, but you're afraid it's not enough to make a difference. It's not good enough to matter. This sweet widow reaches across time to encourage you to give anyways, trusting that it's not the content of your gift, but the attitude with which you give that makes the difference. Some of us might think we have nothing useful to give. Well, perhaps God is challenging us to give anyway, to understand our sacred worth as God's own children and trust in that more than we trust in our bank accounts. And maybe you know someone with a giving and beautifully generous spirit, someone who gives but never gives enough or in the right way to be included on lists of donors at galas or the names of buildings. How could you acknowledge their gifts, their giftedness this week? Who in your workplace or in your neighborhood makes a difference by their generosity? Why not tell them? If this temple scene of the widow is where God is calling your attention this week, spend some time considering, how are you being called to cultivate generosity in your life, and whose unseen gifts need to be acknowledged?
I would like to now invite Scott Dickinson forward to share more with us about One Great Hour of of sharing.
So today's minute for mission is titled Repairs of the Breach. So the question is, what is the church? And we've talked about this as a congregation. We've been talking about this now for some years. We've all come to the conclusion that the church is not the building. But there are a lot of people that still fall into the trap of thinking the church is the building, not. So let's go past the idea of building the structures. It's more than just, what we see here. So here's a little rhyme. How many of you remember this? Let's see if I can do this right. Okay, gotta get my fingers together. So here's the church. Here's the steeple. Open the doors. Here's the people. Yeah, the younger people are going, what did I tell you? But all the people who have been around for a while, that was a way, okay? So this is kind of a useful reminder that, the church isn't just a building with a steeple. Well, in our case, we don't have a steeple, but okay. But it's the people that come through the door to worship. That's the church, all the new folks. And I think that it might unlock something that else is simple mind. When we open the doors to see people, we usually, as we did, wiggle our fingers to remember people as the church inside the doors. As we sit inside this building today, we need to open the doors and see all the people outside the doors. People whose homes and even loved ones have been washed away by hurricanes, floods. There's been a lot of that going on. People trapped in systems of injustice and oppression. Our friends from Cameroon are all too aware of what that's like in their home country. And people who go to bed tonight hungry or without food, without a roof over their heads. The church's makeup may be determined by opening its doors and welcoming people, but the church's identity is defined by opening its doors and joining with the most vulnerable of God's children in the world. The church's identity reflects the call of Isaiah to become repairers of the breach. It is through one great hour of sharing that Presbyterians come together to open our doors to become the church with all the people we see. We open our doors to join those dependent on outsiders for food, those who now receive seeds and silos to sustain a future for their children and communities, to partner with those whose land and livelihoods are threatened and who now receive legal aid and protection for the land that is rightfully theirs, and to work alongside those whose homes and loved ones have been lost to catastrophic events, offering hands to help rebuild and prayers to help restore. So let us open our doors again and again to see the vulnerable we've been called to stand with and to serve. Let us open our doors again and again to share this offering, through this offering, the love of Christ by ministries of justice, compassion, and joy. Let us open our doors again and again to become not this church or this corner, but Christ's church in the whole world. Let us open our doors. Let us walk through those doors to share Christ's love. Let us give of ourselves. Amen.
As we cultivate generosity in our own lives to support this community in this place and to support communities all over the world, I invite you to give with the generosity of the widow that Jesus pointed out. Will our ushers come forward? We're going to have first an offering for the deacons, so we need one person to hold that plate, and then we will have a regular offering. And are there some songs that we could sing? Pat, you want to hold it? Come on. No, there are no young people who want to be ushers. I'm shocked.
It is a great joy to serve the Lord. It is a great joy to serve the Lord. It is a great joy to serve the Lord. All in the light
good work here in this place and all over the earth. Amen. Amen.